It always starts with a feeling you can't name, not excitement, not passion, something quieter, heavier, like standing in a room where the air hasn't moved in years, a presence that doesn't reach for you but somehow pulls you in. Emotionally cold people rarely arrive with fireworks. They don't overwhelm you with affection. They don't chase you. They don't mirror your energy or drown you in attention. And yet, for some reason, they become unforgettable. Their silence feels like a challenge. Their distance feels like a mystery. Their stillness feels like depth. You don't fall for them because they give you something. You fall because they withhold something. And you start trying to earn it. That's the beginning, but not the reason. The truth lives deeper. Emotionally cold people activate an old blueprint inside you, one written long before you met them. Some part of you, often the part you rarely look at, learned that love is not something given. Love is something pursued, something proven, something earned through patience, effort, and hope. If warmth was unpredictable in your childhood, then unpredictability feels like warmth now. If affection came in rare, confusing bursts, then those bursts became your definition of intimacy. If the people who mattered pulled away when you reached for them, then reaching became your second nature. You're not drawn to emotionally cold partners because they're cold. You're drawn to them because they feel familiar, and familiar feels safe, even when it hurts. So when someone distant appears in your life, you don't see emotional unavailability. You see potential. You see a chance to finally win the love you could never quite grasp before. You see an old wound, but this time, you believe you can heal it by being enough. Every emotionally cold partner triggers a story you've been trying to rewrite for years. A story where your worth is proven, not recognized. Where you chase because you were never chased. Where your longing becomes the bond itself. But it gets deeper. Emotionally cold people create a psychological tension that feels intoxicating. Your nervous system becomes hyper-focused on their smallest reactions. A text message becomes a reward. A compliment becomes a victory. A rare moment of softness feels like a miracle. Your brain starts releasing dopamine, not from affection, but from the relief of getting something you feared would never come. It's not love. It's intermittent reinforcement. The same mechanism that keeps gamblers at slot machines. A cold partner pulls away and your anxiety spikes. They come close again and your brain floods with chemicals that feel like connection. Not because the connection is strong, but because the relief is. That relief becomes addictive, and addiction always feels like destiny. This is why emotional coldness looks like depth, why distance looks like emotional maturity, why silence looks like strength, why minimal effort feels more meaningful than consistent love. Your brain romanticizes what it can't fully touch. But what about them? Why are some people emotionally cold to begin with? Most of them aren't heartless. They're simply armored. Some learned early that closeness leads to disappointment. Some learned that emotions make them vulnerable. Some learned to shut down because expressing love never felt safe. Some are so afraid of losing someone that they never let themselves fully attach in the first place. Emotional coldness isn't the absence of feeling, it's the fear of being seen. They love quietly, cautiously, with a level of distance that feels like protection, not rejection, to them. But to you? To you it feels like longing. And longing feels like love when you grew up around it. There's another reason you fall for emotionally cold partners. They allow you to avoid your own vulnerability. Because as long as the other person is distant, You never have to risk being fully known. You can keep idealizing, projecting, hoping, without ever confronting your own fears of intimacy. As long as they're emotionally unavailable, you don't have to face the terrifying truth that real closeness might expose your insecurities, your wounds, your doubts about your own worth. Chasing someone who doesn't open up is safer than opening up yourself. But the cycle always ends the same way. You give more than you should. You wait longer than you promised yourself. You mistake moments of connection for change. You convince yourself they feel everything. They just don't show it. And maybe they do feel something, but they don't feel it in a way that can hold you. So you shrink yourself, you soften your needs, you lower your expectations. Piece by piece, you make yourself smaller in hopes that they will finally reach out. But emotionally cold partners rarely move closer, not because you're unworthy, but because their walls are older than your love. Eventually, exhaustion replaces hope. You start waking up with a heaviness you can't explain, a quiet grief for a relationship that never fully existed, a longing for a future they never tried to build with you. That's when the real question appears. Why do you keep choosing people who can't choose you? Because your heart is trying to finish an old story, a story that didn't start with this person, a story written in childhood, in moments you barely remember, but your body never forgot. The cold partner is not the problem. They're the trigger, the mirror, the echo. The only way out is to rewrite your blueprint, not through another person, but through yourself. You break the pattern the moment you stop chasing cold love, the moment you stop trying to earn what should be freely given, the moment you realize that consistency is not boring, it's healthy. That warmth is not a trap, it's a foundation. That peaceful love is not dead chemistry, it's emotional safety. And one day, you will meet someone who feels different. They won't make you anxious. They won't confuse you. They won't pull away to keep you interested. They won't give you just enough to keep you chasing. Instead, they'll meet you, match you, choose you, without hesitation, without games, without conditions. At first, their affection will feel unfamiliar, almost uncomfortable. You'll want to run, sabotage, compare, doubt. Because real intimacy will feel foreign to a heart trained to survive on scraps. But stay long enough to learn that steadiness is not a sign of emptiness. Stay long enough to understand that emotional presence isn't suffocating. It's healing. Stay long enough to feel your nervous system calm down for the first time in years. That is when you'll finally understand this truth. Emotionally cold people didn't teach you what love is. They taught you what love isn't. And the moment you stop chasing their warmth, you make space for a love that doesn't freeze you out, but actually lets you melt.